the big free agent splash that you all were hoping for, that everyone was looking for. Joe Ingles, baby. And this one is from @BW_Ignite. Magic Twitter has two sides, and he quoted a couple different things here. I'm not lobbing ass for jingles. That's from Matty World. And Jeff Weltman's forehead says, this fan base is so strange. We've been begging for three-point shooting. We get linked to one of the best in that department, and we get annoyed. Yes, absolutely. Bring me Joe Ingles gladly. So there are these two opposing sides of this argument here. People were hoping for something maybe a little bit more. You know, we weren't expecting the Magic to do too much in free agency, but maybe something a little bit more splashy. I mean, you love Jordan Clarkson. That would have been a much splashier move. There's guys like Kyle Kuzma out there still. That could be just like a step up from Joe Ingles, you know, in terms of what they could maybe bring and how closer. They're a little bit closer on timeline in terms of age. So where do you stand on this debate here? Joe Ingles, how you feeling about our big free agent signing, Pish?
I mean, this is exactly what I expected. Like, they found a veteran guy that can come in, that shoots the three well. Yeah, I get there's injury concerns and he's an older player, but he's not going to be playing starter minutes. You know, we're going to ask bench role stuff from him. And if our young players pan out, maybe deep bench, to be honest. This guy is a in case of emergency dude, and that's a good vet to have for the cost we got him for, to do what he needs to do for a short period of time. This is exactly the kind of move I felt like this is about the ceiling I had for expectations on what we should do. I wasn't one of those people that felt like, well, you got to make a trade and get Kyrie and get one of these players that's selfish. It's like everybody wants to, you know, immediately hit that. Okay, let's, you know, start bringing in mega stars now instead of growing our home guys and going around them. And the fact that they only made this deal to get Joe Ingles tells me they like the core. So they're not going to mess with that. They're not looking to trade out those parts or figure some other way to fill a hole. They're just filling this other smaller hole that probably could have gone unfilled, to be honest. So it's cool. It works for me. You? Plus, we get to do Australian accents again, which is great.
Well, as a veteran hole filler myself, I will say that I like the way that we went about free agency. We're just running it back. Like we said on our Breacher Report live stream, we didn't expect any type of really big splashy moves. We're running it back with the core. I do see, you know, the side of the argument where some Magic fans might be scratching their head over Joe Ingles. He did tear his ACL not last season, the season before. And he's 30? I think he's like 36 or something like that right now. He's along in years. He ain't a spring chicken anymore. So
he looks older than me. Let's be honest.
So, you know, to bring someone in to a team that has already had some injury issues, especially if he's going to be kind of in that 3-4 area. Chuma's been down. J.I., we already know that history. Wendell Carter, who will play the 4-5, always misses some games. Paulo has been a tank, but like outside of that, that's not a lot of depth. And maybe we're going to talk a lot about that a little bit later, but that's a little bit of an anxiety-inducing idea, just to bring in someone who is maybe kind of over the hill, and it is an overpay, right? It's $11 million for 2 years. I think that's definitely a little bit more than he would have gotten elsewhere, but that's kind of the reality of being in Orlando. We have to give a little bit more, and it's probably a 1+1. It's like a guarantee, and then it's probably a team option, hopefully.
Well, I think part of the other reason that you bring in a guy on a 2-year contract like this is that if at the end of the season we're not using him much and there's some team that needs a shooter, we can trade him. And he has some value because it's not a 1-year contract where it's pretty much over at the end of the season.
Yeah.
This team would then have some rights to bring him back if they wanted to. So it increases his value, honestly. And it's something that we're not really committed to for even longer than probably the year, but 2 at the most. So it's not going to interfere with any other contract doing. So I think it's good.
I think that's absolutely right, Pish. We bring in a guy who's a 40% 3-point shooter. Your point about the contract being movable and desirable is absolutely correct. From everything I've heard and just listening to some various podcasts and some Aussies out there about the type of dude and the Utah fans, he seems like he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's a jokester, but also, of course, is ready to get to business. Seems like he's going to be a great fit in the locker room and will be able to joke around with our guys who like to keep things light, but also are an extremely focused group. So I'm excited to see what like he and Cole Anthony get into together. And on the court, Joe Ingles is like a Moritz Wagner. He gets under people's skin. Maybe it's just because he looks like, you know, some old white dude who just came off the rec floor and people get pissed off that he's like putting up, you know, threes in their face. But whatever it is, we've now got 2 exacerbators on the team. We've got, and don't exacerbate in public, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Just make sure you keep that at home. We've got 2 guys that really can get under people's skin, so I'm excited to see what happens. The only question I have, again, is the durability, whether he even sees the floor too, and then just whether or not he will be able to play defense. So I don't know, you know, with an ACL tear, normally it takes a year. He's had that year to recover. What does he bring on the defensive end? We'll see. Can he outweigh it with some playmaking and the 3-ball spacing on the other side of the floor?
Well, I mean, the forehead said it best here. Like we needed 3-point shooting all season long. All season long. That's what this guy does.
Yeah.
We got it. Shut up.